Hello, I'm Kurt, the other Sully Sullenberger. I had the distinct privilege of serving as a tweet and occasional gunner with the White Knights of HMM 165 from March of 1967 to April of 68. For the Grunts on the ground wasn't written about a specific mission or crew, but was intended to be representative of situations that occurred all too frequently in Vietnam. This is what I wrote for the Grunts on the ground. The call was relayed in over guard as they were winging their way back to base from a pinned-down patrol with 3 wounded men, low on ammo and water, looking death in the face. The crew listened in vain for a friendly reply, aware the odds were low that help would arrive in time to save the Grunts on the ground below. The toughest decision of the pilot's life loomed. His options were ugly and few. A glimpse at the gauges in the DME said he had no time to lose. With more lives than his own in the balance, he quickly briefed his crew regarding the plight of the Grunts on the ground and what he intended to do. Then he offered each crewman a choice, knowing what their answers would be, because half of the motto ain't sometimes, and there isn't an I in we. Without exception, each man weighed in, recalling the Grunts' haunting plea, and one said, "I'd like to think they'd come if the guy down there bleeding was me." But none of them held his own life so precious that he'd allow others to die. If there was a way to pull off a rescue, they knew they were going to try. So he nosed the bird over, and gathering speed made it clear they were going for broke. On the ground in the distance, the sound of a chopper, and the radio buzzed, Papa Smoke. It blossomed, then billowed, a bright purple cloud marking the zone in the wind, and the pucker factor soared to 9.9 on a scale of 1 to 10. Streams of green tracers crisscrossed the zone. No question but that it was hot. But the clock wasn't stopping, the fuel level was dropping, and he knew he'd have only one shot. With a gut-gargling drop to the top of the trees, a high-speed approach, and a button-hook flare, he set that bullet magnet down in the zone, knowing death awaited them there. The whine of the turbines, the swish of the blades, swirling debris as the bird settled in. Lifting their wounded, the Grunts rushed the ramp, and the blurred eternity began. Machine gunners parried the hot, probing fingers of impartial, very personal death. Sweat, blood, and fear intermingled with the stench of the Grim Reaper's breath. The last man aboard signaled up with a thumb. The crew chief shouted, "Go!" to the hack, who hauled up hard on the collective stick and thumbed both throttles to the max. Life and death merged between ticks of the clock as the blades clawed the hot, humid air. From maximum lift at full power, a dip of the nose, and a prayer. When it seemed there was no way the bird would escape, the incoming suddenly stopped. The enemy scrambled from ambush and ran from the gunships rolling in hot. Corpsmen tended the wounded as they made their way back to base. When they landed, the Grunt shook hands with the crew with a live man's smile on each face. Those who have been there will tell you, there can be no more welcome sound than the thump of an inbound chopper to a wounded Grunt on the ground. Haul them into the fray and help them to stay, bringing bandages, bullets, and beans, and bring them home every one when the battle is done. Our brothers, our fellow Marines. Semper Fi.